Ever broke down crying crocodile tears and had an epiphany at the same time? Congratulations, you are one of us. Art didn't save me. I did. But art was the knife I used to carve my way out of society's prison. This isn't just about art. It's about freedom.
That's way too dramatic. Hey, welcome to the What's Up podcast. I am Katie, and my co-host is here. We have the Judas Priest, Wandering Nevada Soul, Jesse Montero.
What up? How are you, Katie? Love your face. Glad to be here.
Hey, good man. It's good to see you.
Likewise,
Um,
glad to be in, glad to be up and using my right eye today.
yeah. Tell us what's going on, man.
Lost my friggin' vision in my left eye, 25 days ago? And blessed to have the Lions Club and so many people would GoFundMe, right? Like the vision in the right eye was the GoFundMe people. And the finding balance, finding strength, being vulnerable, having support, it's been blessed. So this whole work, Slacker, what up, everybody? The whole crowd, Slim, so many good friends. Katie, you having like these things going, hey, we can still come in and do this. Like keeping these little goals, keeping my mental health stable. So it's been trying to walk this balance of being vulnerable but still maintaining and keeping it going forward, keeping positive, always finding something to be grateful in. So losing vision in one eye, having hope through the help of others, and then, yeah, so catching people up that blindness in one eye and still navigating the path of doing art and challenging myself, going, okay, I finally can, so I'm gonna. Like today, the sixth drawing I've done since this happened.
Oh yeah.
And thank you to everybody too that's been support the shares, the works, the GoFundMe to you for putting that together, to my wife for driving us to San Fran. Like, that's a huge obstacle in her life. So, to those little things, to the big things, and everything in between, like, looking forward to this journey. Let's go.
Woo. So what's the update on your what's the status on your treatment?
So, the right eye is stabilized per the GoFundMe treatment, like I was, y'all help with. It was laser surgery back together. The retina detached on the left eye, and the right eye was in the precursing stages, like it was looking like it was going to. So the repair there got it stable enough that I don't need that. Now the left eye, that's the fun one. Lions down in San Francisco. Um, the retina's detached. The vision's pretty much adios, right? I might get a little back. Whatever I get, if I get perfect vision back, I think we can register it as a miracle with the church, right? Like it's that level of, but
Yeah.
it. I have these steroids that'll soften because it's 25 days. My body's begun to grow scar tissue back there on the optic nerve and the retina and whatever. So they have to soften it up first with the steroids, but then second with a chemo drug they're gonna inject in my eyeball. Which I mean,
Well,
yeah, I'd rather put a spaghetti noodle up a friggin' bobcat's butt in a telephone booth than go through that. But
yeah.
I'm gonna. Ain't no kitty, and there sure as hell ain't no telephone booths left, right?
Yeah. Shit.
So it's I'm blessed to have the opportunity, though. They chance and some great people, the Lions, so much gratitude, and then the GoFundMe, the people with the GoFundMe and some of that, and my wife, thanks to her, she's been working, getting through this. I need to quit shaking, sorry. But it's that whole works that got us there, and me trying to figure out the whole art scene and having just so many things go on last year, trying to strive to get this art up and helping others and working and educating myself. Like the eyeball thing to now take a back seat and just so much gratitude. There's hope. They're gonna put a rubber band on it. They're gonna fix it. They the chemo drugs. If that's the worst stuff I have to deal with, and I have to keep cycling back and go, I don't want to dwell on the negative. I guess I do that a lot. I squirrel back to the positive or try, but there's so much gratitude that even though the left eye is gone or per se, it still gets to stay in my head. And that if the worst I got to worry about in the future is cataracts or something else, like I've accepted this is what it is, and all the good that's going to come of it, that's up to the dude upstairs. I literally have to blame the higher power and say, all right, you got this, fucker, because I don't. But I do. And it's just faith. So the path
Yeah.
ahead, the trip to San Francisco in 2 weeks or a week and a half or whatever. No, yeah, week and a half. Get the surgery then, outpatient, come back, and then it'll take another surgery later to get oil out of my eyes. So it's a long process, a lot of stuff that makes my friggin' spine quiver thinking about going through it. Really happy for general anesthesia and that they didn't have to go do what they did at UC Davis. I'm still having shivers over that one. But there's hope,
Yeah.
and hope means hold on, pain will end. So I just keep focusing on that word, hope. You know, I have it.
Good. And to our viewers, we just want to say thank you for your support to GoFundMe. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. And as we connect too, I mean, some sort of giving back later, trying to figure it out once I'm well. And today, using a little bit of the limited vision. Actually, I'm going to kick one of these lights off because it's bright. But yeah, look forward to be able to get well enough to start giving back or talking about doing the merch and a couple of things. That so much of y'all like thank you for helping it be in the now and in the now being there supporting and you know to friends that have just jumped in and said let's go. Apparently I feel like I did something right when I have this many people that are willing to surround themselves, but I also feel that I surrounded myself with a bunch of those people that I could help at the times I didn't need the help, that I could just be that person, and now to have it reciprocated back is a profound blessing. So that
Yeah.
you know never been one to ask for the help, but now that I needed it, it almost brings tears. So
Whew. Wow. I mean, being an artist is hard in the first place. Um, I think what I've learned over the last season of doing the What Stuff podcast and interviewing so many artists and creatives about how to make a living doing creative work, there is no one size fits all. There is no single solution. And every time it works, it involves like serendipitous luck and being ready to handle that luck at the same time.
yeah. Oh, in that manner, I look up to you so much for what you have done as an artist and the different things like this podcast and the whole thing and the First Amendment, the whole works, and you as one of the few recognized artists that I know of, because I don't think you give yourself enough credit sometimes. I love your face. You leave a lot to look up to. It's you're just awesome in all manners that I'm going. So for that too, spiritually and artistically, like knowing your art and the level I do or some of the things, I felt honored to sit at the table with you. I think it's the way to end that without going down a rabbit hole and to be part of this
Yeah. I
and
think
with
it would
many
be
others.
cool to have have a live one day where it's like get all our friends in here.
Yeah.
Just have like
Stream
a
from Discord bubbles or something.
something, yeah.
That would be what's up.
That would be fun.
Well, I know the camaraderie and the different things with the mental health and art and the inspiration I've seen so many of us give one another and going through, or people embracing the different art styles you're letting me learn or teaching me different stuff because I haven't been doing this for too crazy long, and letting me enjoy parts of things I didn't know I could, and the mental health too, where it's kind of we could relate, or different things or people opening up. That's what's kept me strong. And also, I mean, part of me gets all fucked up. Like, I love you, Slim. A lot of people, but to get to be here in the now and to get to do this and to get to be part of the process, and you ambidextrous artist too, right? With so many
Yeah.
good memories.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Remember both of us drawing at the same time with bow hands? I
uh-huh.
mean, I gotta rig my camera so I can do that too, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again because and so many others that can. It's like embracing what we can when we can. Like today, my biggest struggle right now is not having the control of both eyes watching both pencils at the same time.
Yeah.
It was so much easier to draw in the perspective with the two, but it doesn't mean I can't. It just means I have to embrace a new way of doing it. And that's what a lot of y'all taught me and got me to the point of too, is without the coping tool of art, without the coping tool of this mixed with emotions of going, okay, I'm a little frustrated. Cool, let's put this in. Or lowered expectations going, cool. It doesn't have to be anything beautiful. This was just something to do while I was doing this. And it will become art, whether it's good to me or you or whoever. Somebody out there might like it. If I work on it long
Yeah.
enough, I will too. Or just give up
Yeah.
on it. Yeah. So, and doing that with people. That's what I love seeing in your heart and so many people that we run with is we don't give up on each other either.
I actually have I guess, given up a few relationships this year. It's been really hard, actually. Um, like I don't like giving up on people. I don't like giving up a relationship, but sometimes you gotta protect your peace, I guess.
That I've had quite a few people this last week too that were kind of trying or this. And to me, I had to look at everybody out there. I love them all. And I've said this so many times on a different app, but sometimes I just got to appreciate people for what they show me I don't want to be in life. It means I still love them. But with boundaries, I love them from afar. I'm not going to love them up close. We're not going to eat at the same table. If I have a barbecue, I'm probably not going to invite them. And right, wrong, or indifferent, because if it steals my peace or it causes me worry, then it's not worth it. I can't do it. So I still love them, but I have to do it with that attitude of thank you for showing me what not to do in life and how not to do it, or at least for me.
Yeah,
And
I think
sometimes that doesn't mean it's a good result for them, but it is for me.
sometimes I think, especially in adolescence, we get this sort of black and white false dichotomy kind of thinking when it comes to people, and it seems like they're either good or bad. Like you're either all good or all bad. Like it's like hating your ex-lover. You guys were in love at one point, then you break up and you become these mortal enemies. It's just ridiculous. And then
Right.
as we mature and we grow older and get more emotionally mature, we learn that you can take the good with the bad, and with all the people you keep in your life, you are taking the good with the bad, but you also have to have boundaries. And it's people are complex. They're not all bad or all good for the most part.
100% agree. I think it's
Yeah,
kind of a daily struggle, or if not, I mean, once balance comes, I think all good, all bad is also kind of a maturity thing where, like, we get, that balance of Because I will. I'll put my guard up in a city second with some people and go, oh no. You know? Sometimes not rightfully so. It's just a predisposition. Like, yeah, like the dog barking at the guy that wears the hat, right? He's walking by, and it ain't the guy that did it or whatever it is, but it's the hat. You know, that. Where he's kind of the predisposition. I don't know. Kind of on guard. Oh, what is it? Help?
It's, I think it's a valuable lesson to figure out what a boundary even is, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Artists, in my opinion, are notoriously bad at boundaries because we so often will be inclined to just be ourselves unapologetically and express ourselves and our emotions and say what we're really thinking, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So being an artist involves a lot of vulnerability.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, anything over fucking, what, 12, and you look weird walking up going, I drew a picture. And the wife's going, oh, I love you. You want some cookies? I got some donuts. It's that inner, okay, I don't know. That was part of my thing, but releasing that and going, what are they going to do? Not like it? And
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, they're gonna not like it. Like that's the risk
yeah,
is
okay.
getting trolled, you know. That's the risk. But you live through it. You grow thick skin, you know, you experience having it's not that you don't care what people think, but you can value what somebody thinks and not take it to heart. You can value them for their thoughts and opinions and not agree with them, you know.
100%. Yeah.
I got dogs barking. Hold on.
Calm down, Cujo. No, it's a good dog. No, the whole sense of it, like, to me, with so many teachings and everything, I take what I need and leave the rest behind. Whatever book, whatever teaching, whatever person. Some people teach me a lot. Some books have taught me a lot. Some books a little, or I didn't even read all the way through. But finding that whole works of what is it and what works for me? I mean, that's what's working for me. And if that's not right, I'm nuttier than squirrel shit. I don't know. Yeah.
So originally we had for the first episode we had planned all these questions and topics. Do you want to dive into some of those?
Let's go. Yeah, that was the initial. Let me clear my throat, take a sip of Rockstar, and
All right, man.
that is the Wet Stuff podcast and about, I mean, art, emotions, healing, the journey, the whole works, and yeah. So
All right. First question we got is, how does the creative process impact mental health, both positively and negatively?
as I'm
I
sitting
would
here
say,
drawing and doing this, for me, my mind comes off of the stress. The cortisol releases a little bit because my brain's not meditating or fearing or even worrying about the future. In the moment, in the art, it's just my little zen moment of like sitting at the edge of the pond staring at the koi fish, but I get to meet the koi fish.
dude, you know,
You
it's
know?
true. Like, if you're immersed in the now, you're meditating, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're totally immersed in the present moment. So when you're making art, if you're creating something or even coding, you are completely focused, using your creativity and pushing yourself. You know, when you get in that flow, you really have to be in the moment to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's that hyper focus. Like it is a relief, really.
Yeah. Or the other angle of even if it's not a distractive hyper focus, the other avenue of art for me, or one of them, is art with intention or frustration. To take and put a negative emotion into it rather than trying to escape the emotion I'm in. You know, to kind of feel my feelings through the canvas and not just like, all
Yeah.
right, we're gonna get my mind. So kind of a back and forth. And I love that. Yeah, only time my mind isn't nonstop. That's it, yo. Like I describe it too as when the fucking squirrels that light the dumpster fires in my head, they sit down, they shut up, and they watch me draw. And they stop lighting dumpster fires. That,
Calm them squirrels down.
yeah, bad squirrel, get back in the box. Yeah, the little blessings. I don't know. I didn't know what art held, or at least I don't remember doing it when I was little, but having a lot of awesome people and accepting everybody, and even when not, like teaching each other that. Like, I mean, what? So with you too. I mean, what's your take on that one? Because it's not all about this
I
guy.
mean, I started drawing because I couldn't make friends. I wanted to be a fireman. It was kindergarten. And the day they asked us, "What do you want to be when you grow up? You're going to pretend to be what you want to be when you grow up." And I wanted to be a fireman because I like that red plastic hat. You know what I mean? And putting fires out, making police siren noises, and running around the classroom pretending to hurry up and get to the fire. It was fun. But the other kids got together, took my hat, and they told me, "You can't be a fireman because you're a girl. And you need a girl job." So they took my hat and stuck me in this fake kitchenette with sticker cookies on these pans, plastic pans. I was pissed. I remember I slammed the cookie sheet down, the fake cookies. That it wasn't even a good slam because the cookies were stuck to the pan. They were stickers. So it's not like I could even make a mess to express myself. So I
Right.
went and said, "Screw this," and I started. I went and sat by myself and just started drawing a picture of what I wanted to be. And this little girl comes over and she's like, "You're drawing?" And I said, "She said, do you know what you want to be when you grow up yet?" And I was like, "I'm gonna be a princess." She said, "You can't be a princess." I said, "Yes, I can. I'm gonna be a princess so that I can do whatever I want and be a fireman if I want to."
Because the princess makes the rules. So I have the cookie. I
That's
make the
right.
rules. Yeah, that's epic.
So, yeah. And then I got so into it, that drawing, that I got curious about color. I wanted to know how it worked, but I didn't have like crayons at home yet. So my little klepto ass stole one of each color from the classroom and a stack of construction paper, and I folded all the construction paper into a book and stapled the edge. I made myself a little book, and then with the crayons, I filled every page with color, just looking at it and seeing what it did, and matching colors against other colors, and seeing how they changed just by observation.
Yeah. See, I don't remember playing with color much. It until recently, like a little bit with paint here and there, but no, that I love hearing people's stories, and like I'm so gonna love to work with color more. I have a craving, but that's so your realm. Everybody's out there watching too. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. Um, Something I do during the friggin' TikTok lives, and I'm gonna say time out for a sec. So, as we're halfway about through this, thank you. This is drawing number 6 that we're working on. So, Slim, Slacker, Ground Score, Katie, everybody out there, any random strays, thank you for coming in, followers, people that haven't chimed in. So I'm lighting some sage here, and I'm a Dudas priest, right? So when I describe this, I'm praying to your God if you got one, and if not, we're praying to mine. If that's not okay, you're probably in the wrong live or the wrong podcast, but blessings to you anyways. So gratitude and blessings to every single one of us, every flesh sack there is, here or not, that cohesiveness in existence, that healing through art, that healing through blessings and positivity, that when the ability to take bad and turn it into good, or the ability to overcome no matter what and to accept no matter what, the ability to be kind through, even in our darkest moments or fucking off, like whatever it is, that just the strength to persist, that we're strong, the strength to keep doing so for others, and to do so as we'd like it to be taken care of when we're sick, and me to have that so much gratitude to be taken care of like I've taken care of, and to have good come back, that may we all live that life that brings that balance, where the universe brings that good. This is the year we're manifesting positivity, we're manifesting peace amongst any belief, color, orientation, or otherwise. And so this being just a awesome bit, I'm honored to be here today and to get to extend this blessing to everybody out there that has helped or not. Just every bit of friggin' good in the universe, that just thank you for being you. If you're an asshole, thanks for doing it the fuck out of our lives so we can have healthy boundaries with people and freaking go about our lives in a good way. And keep that torch so I'm not tempted to be one today because you is. And with that, we'll resume to the podcast. Keep the sage burning. And I love your face. And everybody out there, thank you for just rocking this. Needed to do that too. That keeps my spirit at peace because I got to blame the dude upstairs. None of us will ever be the best artists ever, not even competing for it. Because in my opinion, whatever made the universe, the stars, the sky, whether it was just science, I'm not competing with that. I fucking got no chance. So to my higher power, homage and credit for making me me.
Hey, freaking men.
I'm off my pulpit. Never says the dude is pretty. No.
Oh, dude, that reminded me. Okay, so I stole and I knew it was wrong when I took all those crayons and all that shit from the classroom. I knew that was wrong. Um, and one day at school, I had my sketchbook out that I made with the construction paper and I was coloring in it. My teacher came by and saw it and she said, "Oh, what's this?" And I immediately just assumed she knew then what I had done. But I mean, she didn't, but I thought she did. And I told her, I opened my backpack and showed her all the crayons and the paper. And I was just like, I'm sorry, I stole it. Um,
Right.
and then we had parent teacher conferences that day. And that was it back in this little village called Corrales, New Mexico, at Corrales Elementary School. And my teacher was Miss Irene. And that was back when the teacher actually came to your house. I remember her coming up, and I went to my room because I thought I was going to be in trouble, because I had stolen. And after she talked to my mom and left, my mom came into my room, and I just assumed I'm grounded, like I'm in trouble.
Right.
And instead, my mom said, Miss Irene wanted you to have these. And she gave me some crayons, a box of crayons, my own crayons.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah. And it was like Miss Irene understood like why I had taken them.
Yeah.
I remember I said something like, I only took one of each color.
Like, oh, the National Child Abuse Month thing right now. I mean, to me, how many people, if they found an outlet, art, otherwise, music, something to get that or with our kids in those ages to go, this could be healthy if we. Sometimes it is a box of crayons, that little act of kindness. Sometimes that thing you got to take home from Denny's the once or twice somebody got to eat at a restaurant when they're little. That can make all the difference. A gift,
Yeah.
and when somebody sees past the action, when they look past the behavior and look at the person and go, oh, that to me, that's true beauty in life. That's true humanity right there. Somebody that understands more than judges and goes, I see you. And that teacher, those profound moments where like, hey, teach, you might not have, the education you were supposed to give by you did so much more with you, who you were, your personality or your soul, than you did the lessons, huh? Like that. You gave me a lot to look up as a human, not just a educator.
Yeah, good teachers are precious in life, you know? We get lucky when we get one.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of good teachers too. Be hard to pin down a favorite. And every topic is different too, you know. So of course, like I'm gonna say Lynn Johnson, Jennifer Lynn Johnson from CNM, awesome art teacher. And Gene Kimura from Rio Rancho High School. He was cool. He I was working on my first commission in his class and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I thought it was the worst thing I had ever made. I remember I got so upset because he walked up to it and he said, "This is the greatest painting I've ever seen you make." And I thought it was horrible. Man, he really tried to get through to me when I was a kid. I didn't realize a lot of the lessons that he left me with until later, looking back.
Yeah. Yeah. Hindsight's 2020, ain't it? Where you're like, oh, wait a minute. You know, some of I was lucky to catch on some, but the rest I was going, I see what you mean. Like, you were right. Friggin' people that are wiser and older than us.
Yeah. The shit old people say starts to make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like lyrics and songs you never understood before. It's a song you've heard a million times, but you hear it one year and you're like, oh my God, that's what that song's about.
Yeah. Yeah. No shit. Yeah. That stage of maturity hadn't hit where it clicked and went, oh, that was way deeper than I took when the friggin' grunge hit. Oh no. Yeah.
It is
That
good
too.
to
I
see
mean,
you draw, man.
perspective. You change your perspective from one moment to another, and it just shifts. And later, I mean, when that lesson, I think that like when they talk about that planting seeds, or you sometimes I mean it takes a long time for the damn seed to mature and flower. And but 10 year, 20 years back, I've got teachers, Mr. Enixon or go Mr. Nicholas. He was a shining one, or quite a few, Mrs. Sharani, different ones back through my grade school experience. And it was really awesome here. Oh, Mr. Boschert, he was a friggin' shining star. Like, this homie, big bubbly, just friggin', always happy, always kind. And the shop teachers are the ones, Mr. Baptiste, like quite a few of them. Now you got me kicking down memory lane. Or the band teachers, my biggest goal in the world right now is Mr. Jack out here in Urington, getting them some friggin' scratch later for bandstands, because I think the band's been playing on the same damn one since I was in high school. And now my kids are playing on them. But they made a difference. And you look back and you hear these stories, and then you meet teachers, or like when the wife looked at being a teacher. And I don't think they're in it for the money, honestly. From what I understand, I really don't. I don't think most of the teachers are in it for the damn money. Maybe the summer vacation, but not the fucking, you know? And they're blessed to have that. Like, and then to see them shine through with our kids too, or, at least with ours, we hear the stories. that. And it's definitely endearing to think back on so many of the friggin' teachers, right? They so are. Yeah, the Jecka family. I mean, they do a lot here. And there's so many good people that do so many things like that. That if this art thing ever did, my goal, yeah, sure, not to be a starving artist, but I went blind, not dead. So as this works out and we figure this out, I'd love to support so many of those things through this or different fundings or who knows. So I didn't realize the possibility or how crazy it was or was not to do art. And to have awesome artsy people like you having a gallery, having friggin', been on PBS, and you're inspiring, fool. Like you really are. You set the
Thanks,
bar
man.
high for artists already, and just looking at you in your mellow ways, like I can see why you got there. And that's definitely an awesome shine.
You know what's crazy is with art, and I think this goes right into marketing, is people are more inclined when they see a group of things to pick one to identify with most. So it's like, as you're an artist, you social media these days plays hugely into it as far as getting exposure and people knowing you exist and selling anything. But one of the problems I've had is every time I finish a painting, I sell it, which is good, very good, but doesn't help when you need to have a show with a whole body of work. So then you have to, for the show, make an entirely new body of work, which is also good. And when all that sells, that's great. But it's like you don't really start to see a lot of success until you've been at it and doing it for a minute, and you've amassed a series of some kind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I've kind of been watching that and then learning and growing in that, where you've established your style, your set, and I guess some established reliability for your style and your either insanity or sanity, depending on what your art reflects, and maybe your personality to go with it. I don't know.
And that's where the vulnerability comes in, because it's not always like your artwork and your painting and what it looks like. It's you, the person,
Hmm.
and they people decide whether or not they want your work based on how they feel about you. So it's very personal sometimes.
Yeah, I think that is a lot of it. They do read into a lot of exactly what you stand for. I think part of it's your cause, who you are, and the vulnerability. If you don't open up and communicate that or a little bit or shed a little skin, if they don't realize you is potato or there's that relatability, it's hard to do. To me, you just get lost in another pretty picture, another this or that.
Art got harder for me to do when when I felt like there were other things I could be doing that might benefit people more than a pretty picture.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be able to create, to have the time, materials, energy to be able to put in. We're lucky whenever we can, we're lucky to have art supplies. Shit.
No kidding there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you think the dollar store is bad? Fuck, go to Hobby Lobby. Yeah. Yeah. See, to me too, part of being an artist is it's not just the art, it's the calling to go, well, here's part of the reason to talk to me Or here's part of the reason that, so I don't know, maybe it's like but yeah, maybe that's some interpersonal work I need to do. I don't know. Either way, it became like the relatability too, of going, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be this. And then the ones that do it perfectly, I mean, complete homage or, just props. But yeah, I don't have to strive to be perfect in it. I just have to enjoy it. And so many people I love, they don't have to be perfect in it. And that's part of the vulnerability when you get to know them a little bit, like that icebreaker, a little past the artist. Maybe that's why they serve friggin' wine at art galleries, people loosen up a little bit. But I've seen
Yeah.
some beautiful things inside of the artist that create some beautiful things. And I've seen some miserable and some tragedy too, which is all part of the beauty of humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of miserable people making amazing art.
Yes, there is.
You ever met a miserable artist where they just like they resent what they are? Like,
Yeah. Oh, this
I've had
Facebook
a
post a
teacher
while
like that.
ago.
Like
Oh,
the
go
guy has been depressed longer than I've been alive. And
ahead.
he's
Oh,
incredible. His skill is incredible. He's like so he got in. I'm not gonna say his name because I said he was depressed. I don't want to hurt his feelings. But at one point in his life, he told me he got into Buddhism, but he never came out of the part where you feel all the sadness of the world.
yeah. Yeah. See, and I
Yeah,
have to embrace those portions. And that when you see it, stories like that remind me, I don't know what sadness is if I don't know what happiness felt like. It's that contrast and trying to go, and if I can listen, attachment is suffering. One of the Buddhist quotes that got me for a long time, because it can be, because you care about somebody, you love about somebody, and you empathetically go, oh, but I care.
yeah. This is cool, man.
Yeah, I'm liking the start of this show. I mean, this podcast gives me hope. You have for a long time. I mean, and with so many other artsy peoples, Slim, High one, yeah, Shirlena, there we go. Like, and this is another, like, so many of the people that have been out there and doing this, and you, like, just the balance and seeing what the wet stuff and what you believe in, and so many of us seems kindred, and finding that path or the voice to go, what's worse going to happen? Nobody's going to watch the podcast? Or what's the best happens? Maybe one day one goes viral? Like, whatever it may be. If this falls on one right person's ear or wrong, if they're having a bad day and they get a laugh at some goofy joke or smile or watch art, that's what makes it worth it. Doesn't have to be good art, bad art. It's just got to be, and then from there, it's a conversation of and keeping things light and airy and positive, or real and honest, get in the mud and go, we is potato. I heard one artist too. He was
You
talking
know,
on
that's
Facebook.
actually the draw of a gallery. It's not necessarily the art. It's the conversations you get to have at the opening. You know, it's the gathering of the people. It's the experience of, you know, some rabbit hole you get to go down with somebody.
It makes sense. Which is the same as wagon train and so many other experiences, which is the one-on-one or the interpersonal. Getting to hang out with good people and to soak up the vibes, enjoying it. And yeah, I think that's half of it. When you soak up somebody's frequency or you get to tune into like their vision of their art, or a musician when you get to hear them, or somebody that belt out that vocal, And to me too, the conversations where you find the people that are, like we were talking about, a bunch of depressed artists, or people that create from a different funk or whatever it is, that you get to soak in their art. Or maybe sometimes you get to watch one of those depressed people through your compliments and they light up. Like every time I look at you and say that friggin', the whole the pentagram friggin' with the whole your art. The first time I met you and seeing some of the stuff and the way you were lighting up and the way you described some of it, going fuck yeah, like seeing
Dude,
that.
I'm thinking of my time in Carlsbad, California. I managed an art gallery over there, and at that time in my life, I was a stuffy artist, and I had opinions about good art and bad art. And I was all into representational work and realism and all that bullshit. And that gallery, working there, experiencing the art over time, I came to love the abstract work. And I had never understood or loved it before in my life. And one of the things that did that to me was the fact that whenever I was always excited to meet a new artist. I had just gotten out of the Marines and I wasn't used to being around creative people. And I was just like, I want to meet some artists. And managing that gallery, I got to meet a lot of artists. And I realized every time I met one of these artists whose work I admired, their skills in realism and representational work, their ability to blend and their attention to detail and the meticulous way they create all that. They were always, at least at that gallery, really narcissistic, self-important, and lame. And whenever I met one of the abstract artists, it's like we could talk about string theory and galaxies and black holes and hanging clothes to dry between your house and the neighbor's house, like whatever, anything for hours and have a great time. And at some point we might get around to what their painting was actually going for or what it was about. And every time they explained their piece to me, I was blown away and I ended up loving it even more. I remember this one kind of like a diorama. I I remember the first time I saw it, I sort of scoffed at it. It was like a Barbie doll clothing hanger on a string across a shadow box. And the background was a magazine picture between two apartments. So it looked like a clothing line hanging between two apartments. It was actually a cool little piece.
No shit. What it And you just kind of move by going, that's just it is part of it's just the process of that's how you did it. What?
Yeah. I remember when I saw it, it was like I just knew I know that when I first saw that piece, I had no respect for it. None. I was just like, oh, someone put a string from here to there, stuck a hanger on it, put some glue on there, and taped a magazine picture down. Like, who cares? No, my 5-year-old
Yeah.
can make this.
Right.
That kind of stuck up bullshit. I used to be like that, man.
Yeah. Well, it's
You
kind of,
grow
kind of
out of
like
it, I think. At least some people grow out of it. I grew out of it.
I think so. I mean, I've had a few where I'm looking, going, and then later going, well, mad respect. I mean, part of it I think was referring back to the pretentiousness was that inner bleh, not being afraid to show them your look at my pretty picture versus that that's not, and kind of for me being afraid to show off anything less than what I considered my best. That aha moment of no fucks given is when I kind of broke the ice with my personality and not being all oh. That my 20s I was kind of I don't know. Or maybe that's just
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I have
I'll
to
quit
assume I'm
mansplaining. I shut up now. No.
I just assume there's still something wrong with me that I'll notice in 10 years, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
chances are, looking back at this point, I'm sure I'm still fucking up somewhere.
Right? Yeah. Meet somebody and 10 minutes later going, "You're a future conversation for my psychologist." I didn't say that. Fuck, I didn't. Yeah, I did. No, I don't know. If it wasn't for every experience we have in life, I don't think any of us would make what we do of it. If we don't have that quick perception change, or something that doesn't look right, but then you figure it out later, going, "That's what it was." You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be drawing, just doodling all the time. And I never knew what I was going to draw until I drew it. I'm not like that anymore. It's actually, I find it really hard now to do that and tap into that subconscious place because I'm so aware of all my thoughts now. It's hard to not think about my thoughts before I communicate them anymore.
Yeah.
And but back then, it's almost like I couldn't hear my thoughts. I had to draw them to see what I was thinking, almost to become aware of it. And I never understood why I drew any of the stuff I drew until I looked back on it, I don't know, 15, 20 years later, and went, oh, like, I know exactly why I drew that back then, even though I remember back then and going, why the fuck am I drawing this?
I got a few of those last year. Yeah. Yeah, or just get to the middle one and go, "Oh, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not finishing it. I'm done."
And that's the other sort of a funny thing that plays into pretentiousness and self-importance and all this is the notion that the art is valuable because of the artist's thoughts behind the work. Like that's what makes it valuable, that thing, right?
Yep.
But we don't always know what our work is about.
Ain't that the damn truth?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think it's really the thoughts the viewer has that matter, even to the artist, because they're paying your rent.
pretty much. I mean, well, you have to mix the blend of, well, that's what I was going for, but the customer's always right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love personal interpretation. It's half the reason I hate telling people what the hell was into it. I love telling them what my emotion was going there, but I hate telling them what it was intended to be.
Mm. Usually, when I tell the story behind my work, people don't like it anymore. They like it less because they're creeped out by whatever was really going on in my head that I made look like happy rainbows.
It looked lovely, but it's actually Dark Souls mixed with friggin' Berserk. Yeah.
Um, Slim's mentioning that Chat GPT is being sued by over 11,000 artists for infringement on artistic style.
Oh, no kidding.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Can't say I don't see it possibly sticking. That's.
It's true. I mean, but it's such a, I think copywriting a style is dangerous to creativity.
Yeah.
It's like, there's appropriation and there's appreciation and there's inspiration. I'm not saying it's okay to like take an artist's work, trace it, regurgitate it, and call it your own. But I know that as an artist, the way I've learned is by emulating all the things I loved about everything I've seen. And I know AI, though it isn't human, is an LLM model learning the way that I learn, learning on a calculated scale, the way my brain learns, when I'm creating, because the large language models are deciphering algorithms that represent averages of things between imagery and words. It's fascinating that it even works. And I don't think that would have been possible. Um, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it would have been possible if they went about it like reasonably and asked artists permission, to study the work with the model. They'll let the model study their work and learn it. But at the same time, when has anybody ever had to ask permission to learn from what's available to be seen?
Yeah. See, that's where it is so sticky. Where it's almost like, I mean, can you copyright the color on one color of paint or on a car, or you can't? It when you limit, it just gets so wish washy, and then it
The
becomes like, I don't know.
OpenAI did a TED Talk. Can't remember the guy's name at the moment, but he was saying we should think of AI as a new digital species. That concept fascinated me, you know?
The lingo gets me. Recognized as species mean, I mean, look at the one homie that friggin' willed the oak tree something something, gave it life, gave it permission, or some craziness back east. I don't know. I can't remember but there's been some weird stuff happen, and then all of a sudden it. Not that I don't want to see AI have all the absolute rights, but I watched Terminator in the '80s, and fucking tell me I ain't a little bit afraid.
Oh, you should be afraid, dude. It's terrifying.
Yeah,
I remember the first time I used, what was it? I can't remember which AI model it was. It was oh, what was it called? The first time I used AI, it blew me away, and I was terrified and fascinated and horrified and excited. And I kept going back and forth between these two extremes where I felt for a moment like everything I had ever accomplished was pointless because you could just type some words now and make something similar happen. And because my skill sets were no longer so precious, because now everyone had access to skills I had developed to myself having it by hand. Now, the learning curve is so small to use AI. All you have to do is describe what you're thinking and play around with how well the mechanics of translation understand your language. It's not like you need to spend
yeah,
10,000 hours drawing from life.
yeah. Yeah,
So
look at that one.
that hurt a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But you got to get over that because to me, it's far more important for everybody to have access to express themselves visually than it is for me to be unique in my skill sets.
Yeah, it. We have so much information, so much ability at our fingertips, but in so many ways we're ignorant to the ability to do said things without the assistance of technology. And that part always got me of radical self-reliance. But if you can't get from point A to point B without navigation or something other than, GPS or painting or to me, but I think it's also different challenges of growth or it I didn't, I guess the school of hard knocks. I'm like, sign me the fuck up. Other people are like, I want to go to an accredited learning center that gives you an actual degree. Like, I don't know. I think we kind of choose some of those paths too. Going, am I going to do this the hard way or am I going to do this the easy way? And or and relying on that of like Carolina, watching her, Carolina, right?
Yeah.
And doing the diamond art. And now that she
Oh,
started to
yeah.
put paintbrush to canvas, watching this thing grow inside of her. And not that diamond art isn't an art, it's so much an art. But she found a new form of expression, kind of like a bass guitarist picking up a saxophone. And all of a sudden you're like, well, wait, they like the squeaky thing more than the thumpy thing. Like, you know, and if that's, I mean, some of like with AI and the expression or like what, so I think it's kind of the different aspects too, or so however, I don't know. That's so hard.
Well, I guess that's the question is when
Yeah,
you create your prompt, is what gets reflected back
yeah,
expressive of what you felt when you wrote it? And if it
yeah,
is, or even if it's not, you change it. Like if you
right?
generate an AI image and then manipulate it yourself.
No,
It can't
100%.
be said, the image wouldn't exist without your prompt, and it can't be said that it's not still on some level your expression or that you aren't the art director.
Yeah, yeah,
I just think it's sad that AI is gonna change the world so much and that so many jobs will be lost and so many skill sets devalued. That's a sad reality that we're gonna see or that we are seeing. But at the same time, I guess that's the evolution of technology, isn't it? Like
yeah, it is.
changes, the sewing machine or the printing press or, the knitting machine.
Why not? I might not be using the AI for so much the art, which I have, but what I will use it for is the search engine optimization, the SEO, or the friggin' hashtags. And so, technology, I know a lot of companies or things, it's if you don't use some of it or if you're not using some of the latest tech, it makes life a lot harder. I know in business, I used every old school method to avoid new technology for years. Other people did so much better because they were using the new tech, more efficiency. So I think
Yeah,
it's kind of a combination between interpersonal and efficiency.
it
So
would be
some
nice
things,
if I actually, I think we're doing not the worst job at using it responsibly and maintaining some ethics with it.
I like that
If
word with
you
it.
if you if you want to generate pornographic violence or um, like child porn or something like that, you can't do that with any
Yeah,
of the models that are available.
thank God for that
They,
too.
right? Yeah, because I mean that when it first came out, I remember I saw some horrible, just whoa, shit. It was this. I remember there was this server. It was an AI server. Everybody was making AI images in it, and it was like the most nightmare, horrible, violent, gory, sadistic kind of imagery. It was like visiting hell. Like if you could go visit hell and open a window.
Yeah. Seeing that part. Although I don't know. I learned when I got sober 10 years ago, 8 years ago, the whole rehab thing in 2015, um, that a lot of it, like my anxiety, I'd go up and sit up in the friggin' place and they'd be playing the news. And Pamela, how are you? Look at it. When they were playing the news, my anxiety would happen really bad because I'm listening to all the negative shit in the world and kind of focusing on it, sitting there choosing to do it. So then I found other things to do instead of sit there and watch the news. Then when I got out of rehab, I started looking around. Did you know? And there's this website and it's called the Good News Network.
Yeah.
And they have fucking good news on it, not this other shit. And you can read about some funding thing for sea turtles. I mean, is ignorance bliss? Sure, but is fucking my anxiety worth not reading about the friggin' how close the friggin' atomic clock is to fucking. We're at 15 seconds. Cuban Missile Crisis was at 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 15 minutes? Like, hell to the fucking no. So my anxiety lives in I'm just kind of art, and I mean, I tell my kids I love them often and everybody else, and that's where anxiety lives is Fox, CNN, fucking ABC. Help! I didn't say that.
Okay, so we are out of time. Actually, we are over time, and I don't want to go over
No,
time too much
absolutely.
because Hippie might want to use it. So
Yeah. Well, and love you guys. Friggin', I might be on here a little bit. Pam, everybody, love your faces. I got a text I got to check too. But Katie, thank you for being a beaming light and everybody out. It so many people in this, and for letting me be part of the last year, right, wrong, or indifferent, and seeing where this is going to go. For this podcast, having something to look forward to. For broadcasting a voice and being okay with that voice and making hope of it. So I love you, fucker. You're awesome. All y'all.
love you too, man. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And thank you for the comments and all the love and appreciation and support for Wandering here.
And
You guys
watch
have
our
made a
projects
difference.
too. Blessed, the Eclectic Art Hub on Facebook, Wandering Nevada Soul on many apps, and thank you for the whole works, the conglomerate, and it's about working together too. So collabs, connections, the whole works. And Katie here be checking out the First Amendment Project and a lot of different things coming down the pipe. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit subscribe if you didn't already. Drop those comments, likes, and that. We really appreciate you, and let us know what you think. Down there in the comments. That'll be part of this too. So we appreciate your feedback. Appreciate your time, and I'm gonna shut up again. Let her wrap it up.
Thanks for joining us. You can follow us at The Wet Stuff on YouTube, and we'll see you next time. Are you going to be
Absolutely.
here next week, Wandering?
That is the plan. That's Wednesday, travel day. It might be a little bit early, might be a little bit late. But either way, yeah, we should be able to make this happen. Or maybe we'll
Cool,
have to
man.
record it on Tuesday or today, but it'll be flexible.
Yeah, we can do that. Just let me know.
We do this. Love y'all.
All
Love
right,
you.
guys. Adios.